So GMRS is a licensed service of the FCC, and it shares some similarities to the FRS radios. Those are the radios you can buy at Walmart. Some people call them the blister pack radios. So as far as differences go, there's several different, very important differences that make one more superior to the other. And that it being GMRS is superior. So let's start off with number of channels, which arguably is not, but I believe FRS has 22 channels designated to it, and GMRS is 30. And the difference in there is 30 has repeater pairs, and I've talked about repeaters a couple times already. And GMRS is not repeater capable, period. But that's whatever. The more important thing comes back to capability and power. So, GMRS is limited, FRS is limited to 2 watts, and then there's certain channels that are designated that are only a half watt, and that's all you can ever do. On GMRS, there are channels that the same range of channels that are a half a watt. They can only be half a watt because GMRS and FRS share the same channels. And then there are other segments of that are allowed 5 watts. Well, that means you have just a little more oomph in your signal when you are trying to talk to that person that's down a few blocks. And if you use those FRS radios in the past, you don't get very great range. So this would, depending on conditions, because I always have to say that, can extend out your range by a few hundred feet probably. But more importantly, and this is why I got it to begin with, is because there are segments that are allowed up to 50 watts of power. FRS is maxed out at 2, period. So now I can put in a 50 watt mobile radio in my truck, and the next person or someone I'm traveling with could also put a 50 watt GMRS radio in the truck. Let's say it's my parents. And now, if you've ever tried to use FRS radios while carpooling down vacation or something like that, once you hit a certain point, you just can't reach them anymore. No one hears each other. I'll use this as a kind of evidence. And at this point, I don't really remember the exact frequency set that we were using. But me and 2 other hams, this was in ham radio, but similar propagation. We were heading back home, and we were just chit-chatting in our vehicles. The one guy somehow may have hit the stoplight or hit the green light, and we got stopped by a stoplight or something like that. I don't remember how he got so far ahead of us, but he was a good, let's say 6 to 10 miles away from us, and I was still hearing him as well as if he was standing right next to me. So there are really good bonuses to having GMRS, and I think a lot of off-roaders are also realizing that now, that GMRS is a really good service for them to have. One, because it's reasonably affordable, but 2, you get some decent range, especially if you're out in the mountains, you're all around. You can sometimes hit for miles if you are at high enough peak. But do remember, when I talk ranges, that is highly, highly dependent on your terrain. We may have been up a little bit higher and hitting him a little bit easier. Where it was kind of in the plains of Minnesota, so we were more flat land, but ultimately, like, I have seen mobile to mobile work for at least a couple miles, which really is helpful in those situations. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Is there any other differences? Any allows for repeaters. I'm trying to think of the one other thing. There's some other potential things within there, but ultimately those are kind of your biggest differences. And I would do GMRS over FRS any day, just knowing what I know about it. But in cases of disaster, like what I've been kind of talking about, you use what you have, but you have something. If all you want to deal with is having a set of FRS radios that you got from Walmart, you slip in fresh batteries into it and you start using it to try and reach out to someone, that is far better than absolutely nothing. So hopefully I answered your question, and have a good day.